Andrew Bopros here. Hey, I want to do a real quick video on a bold prediction that I've had for a little while, and it's regarding our boy JC Jackson. So, guys, let's get into it. All right, folks, so let's talk about JC Jackson for a little bit, right? And kind of discuss his situation. I'm going to give you a little bit of a positive sandwich here, right? And what I mean by that is I'm going to give you some positive, I'm going to give you some negative, I'm going to give you some positive. JC Jackson, for me, has been a little bit of, shall I say, a frustration, right? The man, we signed him a 5-year, $82.5 million contract in free agency last season, right? We all know he's Mr. INT, guys. He's the man, right? And he really is, folks, right? I mean, we sit back all day and talk about how he's, good, bad, indifferent, all the above. But look, here's the reality. He didn't play a lot last season, right? Obviously got injured. He's working his way back. The man can do it, right? So where am I going with this, right? I think a lot about him, and I want to talk about bold prediction. We got Aether, other people in our comments talking about how we haven't done a lot of bold predictions. One of my bold predictions right here is this man right here, JC Jackson, could be the comeback player of the year in the NFL. And I'm going to say I truly believe he can, right? And I've been very hypercritical of his gameplay with Brandon Staley, because we all know Brandon Staley runs very different types of defenses, very different than Bill Belichick. So it's one of those things where I sit back and say, okay, is he in the right system? Is he not in the right system? I think JC Jackson really can do it. I think he's one of those guys that really can have a bounce back year and do very well, right? Again, I think a large part of it is people need to stay healthy, and it's a big part of the conversation. But again, Derek Ainsley specifically talked quite a bit about him just recently, about him coming back. And, I really do believe that he can have a bounce back season. Now, will he have the best season he's ever had? Who knows? But I will say this, he's grinding. We've all seen the videos on YouTube. We've talked about this. I mean, he is working his ass off, guys. And look, the man has a lot to prove, and I always ask this question, right? Okay, I know he did well at Bill Belichick's system, but is he going to be the guy for us, right? Again, I think he can do it. Brandon Staley runs a very different defense than Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick makes everyone look good around him because of the system that he puts around. But again, Ainsley specifically talked about this. I think this was about a week ago. He's here every day, grinding. We've all seen the videos. He's doing a phenomenal job. Now, I will also say this too, guys. There's a big reason why I don't think we picked up any corners in the draft, right? I think they know that JC Jackson is going to be back. My bold prediction also is that he will be starting day one. I'm excited. I think he can do it. He's working out hard again. You guys could remember he's an undrafted free agent, right? So he had to step up and move forward, right? And it's what he did, for the Patriots. Obviously, that's what he's going to try to do here for the Chargers. But again, it was a horrible injury. I mean, that's one of those injuries that you just do not come back from very easily, right? It's very, very difficult to come back from an injury like that. And he did it. So, okay, great. Now, again, Brandon Staley specifically talked quite a bit about him quite a while ago, in fact, and talked a lot about how he thinks he's really going to be ready to go for this season. I'm gonna say a few things about Brandon Staley and specifically JC Jackson. JC Jackson, I've always believed, and under Bill Belichick's system, was more suited for man coverage, right? And the way Bill Belichick ran, as far as I understand it, guys, and I'm just giving you my opinion, really what Bill Belichick would want to do is he'd say, okay, JC, week one, we're playing, Miami, right? So then you say, okay, fine. I want you to cover Waddle. You're all over him like white on rice. You just shut him down. Anywhere he goes, you are all over him. You take away the number 2 or the number 1 wide receiver, and that's it. Brandon Staley doesn't really do that. He runs quarters a lot, which is difficult. So the 2 high safety. So basically, JC Jackson has to sort of just make a decision. Am I going to cover this guy all the way up? Am I going to pass him off to the safety up top? What do I need to do specifically? Brandon Staley puts a lot of pressures on safeties and corners to make the right reads. Now, another undrafted free agent that we have on our team that had an amazing season last year was Mike Davis. Mike Davis was incredible, right? But it took him really a while to pick up the system. And I think JC Jackson's kind of in that situation. But again, the guy has the talent, right? We all know he's Mr. INT. He can do it. He just has to learn how to make it work within Brandon Staley's system. I'm kind of hoping, and what I think Derek Ainsley may do is actually do a little bit more of a hybrid approach and have a conversation around that. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out. Again, I do think that Brandon Staley is going to work with him, and I think they're going to be fine. And you remember, guys, remember last season in training camp, J.C. Jackson was killing it, folks. He was killing it. So he has an understanding of the system. He's just not putting it together. Now, the good news is he's coming back. He's looking hard. He's looking solid. He's looking like he's ready to rock and roll, guys. So it's one of those things where he's, hey, he's making it work, right? And so I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Now, again, he's been chirping a lot, right? So positive, kicking ass, rehabbing, looking great. I think Brandon Staley's going to find a system for him. Ainsley is very excited about him. Bottom line, we know, and again, he's one of the highest paid players on this team, guys, and he hasn't been on the field a whole lot. So huge concern. You guys remember last season, had this ankle surgery right before the season. He's out like 2 weeks, and then all this happens with his, season-ending injury. I mean, a little weird situation with him. But again, he came out recently, started talking about how he's so excited for this revenge game against the Patriots. Guys, that's going to be in New England. It's going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see. It's a revenge game for me. I'm excited to go back and pick off Mac Jones and show them why they shouldn't let me go. And guys, look, $82.5 million with LA. New England's not going to pay that. Bill Belichick understands that he does not need to pay that money because his system is his system, and he knows what he's doing. And again, guys, I ask myself this question: should they have let him go? Well, you know what? Bill Belichick is looking like a really smart man. There was some even arguments after the season. If you guys recall, I did a couple of videos on this, that actually J.C. Jackson may go back to the Patriots, right? A lot of the Patriot fans are like, oh, he's going to come back because yada, yada. Bill Belichick runs a really tight ship. Now, bottom line, I love what he's saying here too. My number one goal is to be healthy next season. To remain healthy, I'm just excited to be out there and compete with the team. And I'll tell you right now, guys, look, you got these other guys on your team, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James. I mean, come on, man. Can this team just stay healthy for a damn change, right? And sky's the limit, folks, guys. Sky's the limit. And again, where does this leave us, folks? Where does this leave us, when we start thinking about J.C. Jackson? So I'm going to talk about the negative right now. Again, you guys remember last season, J.C. Jackson was arrested in relation to a nonviolent family issue, right? You remember that happened in the offseason, or sorry, it was during the season, 100%. Not a whole lot came of it, gathering information happened in, I do believe it happened actually out in Massachusetts. So it's a really weird situation that, that happened with him. Well, recently, J.C. Jackson, guess what? Was on TMZ. And this is where I start having pause with J.C. Jackson, right? And I say to myself, can he be the comeback player of the year? Again, I'm going to say this 100%. I believe he can. He has all the talent. He could do what he needs to do to be successful. Where I'm having a hard time believing he can be is, can he keep his off-the-field problems off the field, right? And, football players are people, right? And at the end of the day, people have stressful lives. Everyone has a stressful life. You and I all have stressful lives. But again, you see J.C. Jackson over here on TMZ flapping his gums. So I'm going to hit play on this, guys, and I'm just going to comment on the other side.
How's the recovery process going?
It's going good. It's all mental, man. It's all mental.
So when you say it's going good and it's all mental, what is the mental like? Like, I know that's a big thing, you know what I mean? You got this big deal and then the injury happens. Like, what is your mental like? Like, what are you dealing with right now?
Just stay focused, man. Every day it's a grind, man. It's a daily grind.
What's your day-to-day like with rehabbing with your injury? Like, what do you wake up at what time? And then what are you doing from
8 o'clock.
And then are you in?
We start rehab like 8:30, 8:15.
And what's the rehab like? What type of exercises? What type of workouts?
Get to running, man. I was down for the past 6-7 months, so back up and get ready for the season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at that change, though.
So when you come back big, is it going to be 100%?
Yeah, 110%.
110%.
And then what's your thoughts about the new Chargers draft pick, Quentin Johnson?
That's a big one. We needed that. We needed a big time receiver. I feel like he's going to come in and earn the job right away.
Have you gotten to speak to him? Like, how does that work? Like, is that somebody that you're looking at?
We'll stop it right there, folks. And again, look, I can sit back all day and start saying, well, what does it matter, right? He's on TMZ, no big deal. But here's the problem, guys. You're in LA. Okay, there's a huge media empire area, right? And everyone's going to be, in your face. You're going to have cameras in your face. Can you keep your off-the-field problems away from the field? To me, that's where I look at J.C. Jackson and wonder, can he really do it? I think he can, folks. And at the end of the day, I really do believe J.C. Jackson is the right guy. I think he'd be the comeback player of the year. I really do. I see a lot of fight in him right now. I see a lot of tenacity. I mean, you see these videos, he's working his ass off. Ainsley, Staley, all of them are talking about how he is working his way back and doing everything he needs to do to be successful. So, again, in summation, if J.C. Jackson can keep his personal life in check, I think there's a very good chance he could be the comeback player of the year in the NFL. But what do this is what I think. What do you guys think? Put a comment down below. Let's have a discussion. Let's just talk about it. Again, it's my big bold prediction. I think he could be he could be the man this season, right? If he can stay healthy, do what he needs to do. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Let's agree, disagree. Let's have a discussion. As always, Andrew, Bolt Bros. See you guys in the next one.